to the show. I am very, very excited today because it is summer. And while I'm not someone who loves a super hot and sweaty day, I do love all of the deliciousness that summer brings with it. Like, I'm talking about going to the farmer's market or the grocery store, and you can find so many good fruits and vegetables that are perfectly in season right now. So as we move into those nice and warm months, my favorite thing, peaches. They're coming in. They're starting to look beautiful. Stone fruits in general are looking so lovely right now. Things like cherries, again, peaches, plums. So I wanted to use those peaches to make a delicious peach crisp, but I'm gonna pair it with the cheesecake ice cream because this is the good stuff. So we gotta jazz it up a little bit. So first thing I'm gonna do is get to work on that peach crisp. Now, this recipe is really, really great because you can sub in pretty much any sort of fruit you want. In the fall, if you wanted to do this with apples, you could definitely do that. But again, we're going in with those stone fruits. So the first thing I'm gonna chat about is peaches, one of my very favorite things. Now, peaches come in a couple different varieties. You can get like white flesh peaches, yellow flesh peaches, but the main difference between all of the peaches is whether they're a clingstone or a freestone. Now, a clingstone means all of that delicious fruit is gonna actually like stick to that pit, almost like a mango. You're not really gonna be able to get that pit clean, but a freestone is almost like an avocado. You can just pull that pit out and you're good to go. Now, when you are picking peaches, no matter what type you're looking for, the first thing you wanna do is smell them. Give them a whiff, don't press them. If it smells like a peach, it's gonna taste like a peach. If it smells like nothing, it's gonna taste like nothing. You do not want that peach. This smells like a peach and I'm very excited. So I'm gonna test to see if this is a freestone or a clingstone. It's probably gonna be a clingstone because of the time of year, but what you wanna do, kind of like an avocado, is run down kind of that line in a peach, just all the way around that pit. I kind of roll it along the cutting board. Then you wanna get it and very gently give it a twist. If it wants to twist, that is a freestone. This does not want to twist. So I was correct. So the way that I like to get that peach flesh off of this peach, rather than just eating it out of hand, is to actually kind of cheek it and treat it more like a mango than an avocado. So you get your knife and you kind of just go a little bit outside of the center and you just cut down until you hit that pit. Then you kind of just wiggle your knife around until you get all the way around it and just trim down. So super simple. It seems pretty self-explanatory, but honestly, I have struggled so much with peaches before trying to pretend they're a freestone when they're a clingstone. And then I just end up with a fistful of mushy peach. So learn from my mistakes and just try to cheek it. So I'm gonna cut this peach into about 8 wedges each. But when you do it this way, cut each little kind of cheek into 4 or 3, and then you just get that middle bit, pop those into a bowl. For this recipe, you wanna use about 8 peaches is gonna be absolutely perfect. So I'm just gonna cut another one and add it on in. Oh my gosh, look at that blushing color. Beautiful. I was just in France and it is full peach season there. We are almost there here in Ontario and I'm very, very excited about it. All right. Now, pop those on into a bowl, and now we're gonna start building a little bit of that sweet, kind of treacly, delicious jamminess that happens when you bake up that crumble. So onto those peaches, I'm gonna add on just a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I love using brown sugar because it gives that little bit of a molassesy flavor, that kind of like grandpa dark brown sugar flavor, which is always good. I don't know if anyone else thinks of sugar like various members of their family. But for some reason, brown sugar, very grandpa sugar to me. All right. Now into there, because those peaches are gonna kind of draw out a lot of moisture as they bake, I wanna add something to thicken it up. So what I like to add is a little bit of cornstarch. Cornstarch is great. Once it hits the boiling temperature in the oven, it's gonna just thicken everything up and make it nice and jammy. So a tablespoon of cornstarch goes in. If you don't have cornstarch, any other type of starch will obviously work. If you don't have any type of starch, you can just leave this out. It'll just be a little bit juicier. Not a bad thing, just a little bit messier. Now, to season this up and give it some spice, I'm going in with half a teaspoon each of some cinnamon, as well as a little bit of ginger. Yeah guys, I love adding ginger into here. If you want this to be a little spicy and a little more gourmet, you could even go in with fresh ginger if you wanted to. We give a little bit more heat, it'd be really nice. But that dried ginger is absolutely perfect. And it's nice to bust out other than just at like Thanksgiving when you're making pumpkin pie. Now into there, I'm also gonna add in a little bit of my very favorite thing, freshly grated nutmeg. Did I have it in my pocket today? No, I just put these pants on, I forgot to put it in. So that's okay. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of nutmeg and just grate it on my rasp right on in. If you do not have fresh nutmeg, first off, go get yourself some because it's delicious. But if you don't have it, about a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg would be absolutely perfect. Fresh nutmeg though has such a lovely kind of lemony flavor and smell. It's really, really great. Now, to kind of cut through everything, I'm gonna add in the zest and juice of half of a lemon. That's gonna give a little bit more brightness. This would also be really good if you wanted to add in orange juice with peaches, or orange juice with plums would be totally delish. So add that on in. A little bit of that juice just to cut through some of that richness. It also helps a little bit with the pectin, again, thickening up that juiciness. Pop that over there. And then we're also gonna go in with, what do I need? A little bit of salt? Do I want some salt? No, I don't want salt. Know what I want? A little bit of extract. You could go in with a vanilla extract. I'm going in with almond extract because I love that flavor combination. So just about half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon of that goes in. Give that a mix up, and that is your crumble filling done. It looks a little dry, it looks a little messy, but this is gonna bake into basically like cooked jam, kind of like pie, but without the crust, so way easier. All right. Now I'm just gonna transfer that on into a dish. If you wanted to do this on a barbecue, you could pop this in a cast iron skillet, put it right on there, and it would be beautiful. But we're gonna go in the oven, so I'm gonna pop that right on into a casserole dish. And then this is, in classic summer dessert fashion in my house, a 1-bowl dessert. So I'm actually gonna make the crumble or crisp topping right in this bowl. Even though it's a little bit messy, it's gonna work out. So I need a cup of flour, and you can use any type of flour here. I'm using whole wheat because I had it on hand, and to be honest, I don't use whole wheat flour that much, so when I buy it, I'm always looking for ways to use it up. This gives a little bit of nuttiness, but if you wanted to, you could easily use a gluten-free flour. That would work perfectly. You'd wanna use a gluten-free oat as well to go with that, just to keep it gluten-free. Speaking of oats, I'm going in with about 3/4 of a cup of rolled oats. Add those babies right on in. Now, if you wanted, instead of doing that almond extract, you could do coconut extract in those peaches, do a little bit of coconut in here. Very nice, but since we did almond extract, I'm going in with about a 1/4 cup of slivered almonds. Pop those babies in. Give that a little bit of a toss. I am gonna season that with a little bit of salt, just a pinch. You can also add in those spices if you wanted some cinnamon in here, a little bit of nutmeg, whatever you'd like. But to bring this all together, I need to add in butter, my very favorite ingredient. We got nutmeg and butter, what more could I ever ask for? So I've got half a cup of butter here cut into pats. This is at room temperature, and my producers were like, Mary, what's a pat? They Googled it, it was not clear. But pats are basically what you picture on top of a pancake when you picture a cartoon of pancakes. So just cut that into pats and pop those right on into that mixture. And then what you wanna do here is get your fingers right in there. You could use a pastry cutter, but I like just going in with my hands, because for a crumble, you just kinda wanna mush it all in. You're not worried about it looking cute. It's gonna look actually kind of like a disaster, but you want it to be crumbly and crispy. That's what we're looking for. Also, as you can tell, the words crumble and crisp are interchangeable in my vocabulary. So this is called a crisp, but I'm also gonna call it a crumble. Now, once all that butter is worked in nicely and it looks kind of like wet sand, what I like to do is get about 2/3 of this mixture and scatter it right over top, even if it's kind of dusty. So grab that mixture, scatter it right on top. You're gonna see those bits of butter. That little bit of flour in there that's loose is gonna cook down into that fruit, help thicken it up. Then with that final bit, grab it, smush it into a ball, just like that, and then you wanna break that over. That gives you all those big, chunky crumbles that you're looking for. All right, I'm gonna keep doing this, then I'm gonna pop this into a 400-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, just until it's golden brown and bubbly. And we have got a beautiful one just cooling back here. It's nice and jammy, it's golden brown, it's bubbly, and what could be better with it than a little bit of homemade ice cream? Now, when I'm talking homemade ice cream, I'm not asking you to get out your ice cream churner or like do that thing where you get a can and you shake it, because that, I don't have time for that. This is a really easy hack to make no churn ice cream at home. I did something similar when I made homemade ice cream sandwiches, but this time we're gonna give it like a cheesecake flavor, which sounds pretty good to me. So in this mixer, I have got 1 cup or 1 brick of brick-style cream cheese. I've beaten it up just until it's nice and smooth. That's gonna help me kind of incorporate everything else as we go. Now into there, the key ingredient anytime you are making a no churn ice cream is sweetened condensed milk. A can of sweetened condensed milk keeps this really nice and smooth and creamy. It brings you that sweetness that you're looking for, but it doesn't freeze solid. If I were to just kind of whip cream and then sweeten it with some sugar and vanilla and pop that in the freezer, you're gonna end up with a brick, like an ice cube of weird sweet cream. This sweetened condensed milk keeps it nice and smooth and delicious. It's gonna be wonderful. Now, since that is ultra sweet, I'm going in with about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Cream cheese has a little bit of salt in it, so just a 1/4 teaspoon is perfect. Now, I wanna do a vanilla flavor. If you wanted to mimic that almond going on in that crisp, then you could definitely use almond extract, but I'm going in with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. You could even be fancy and use a vanilla bean, but who has time for that these days? So I'm just going in with the regular old stuff. I'm just gonna beat that together until it is nice and smooth. Since I beat that cream cheese already, that's gonna help that kind of come together. Just do it until you don't see any of those lumps of cream cheese anymore. This smells amazing. Cream cheese and vanilla, what a delight. When I'm feeling extra lazy though, if you do not want to make your own homemade ice cream, one of the things I love to do rather than just buying store-bought ice cream or making whipped cream, this sounds strange, but a little bit of sour cream with a bit of sugar, brown sugar in it, a little bit of vanilla, some cinnamon, sweetened whipped cream on a crisp, very good. Also, crisp in my mind, tomorrow, breakfast. Just put some yogurt with it. It's fruit, it's fun. It's fruit and oatmeal, you're good. All right, that is looking beautiful. Nice and smooth and creamy. I'm just gonna take that off of that mixer, and now we're gonna add in some whipped cream. So I had 2 cups of whipping cream that I whipped up earlier, and we've got that right over here. Now, typically when you're churning ice cream, basically what you're doing is working in air. So by whipping the cream ahead, that kind of adds that air that you're looking to get when you make ice cream, which gives you that fluffy, creamy texture. So the first thing I need to do is add just a little bit of this whipped cream into this mixture just to lighten it up a bit. This method is called folding, but with this first addition, you can be kind of rough and tumble. Just give it a stir, because what you're looking to do is just kind of combine it, just to give it a little bit of lightness. Now I'm going in with the remaining amount of this. I'm only gonna put in half. Half of that, and we're gonna start folding it in. And as you can see, we're being very exact with our measurements. You don't have to be, it's all good. Now to fold, basically what you wanna do is get your spatula, cut down the center, and fold over top. Give your bowl a turn and kind of just keep going around until you don't see much of that white streak of that cream anymore. That's how you get that beautiful cream in without knocking out all that air. Now I'm gonna go in with the remaining amount of this whipped cream, but then since this is a cheesecake kind of sort of ice cream, I also wanted to add in something that gives me kind of like crust vibes. So I'm going in with some graham crackers. I've got some here that I've busted up. You can bust them up even more if you want. That's about 8, but I'm just gonna toss those babies in. If you want, you could even use like vanilla sandwich cookies. That would be delish. Give that a nice mix again, just until you don't see that streaky kind of cream mixture. Then I'm just gonna pour that into a loaf pan. Just a standard loaf pan is perfect for this. I mean, that looks delightful, doesn't it? Oh, you serve this to your guests and they're never leaving. They're now your roommate, so good luck with that. All right, pop that in the freezer covered with a little bit of plastic wrap just until it is nice and firm. And because of that whipped cream, it's nice and light and fluffy. This is looking out of control. Gonna pop that down. Looking like a dream. Then I've got this crisp back here that's cooling just a bit. We've got those peaches, they are tender, that beautiful crispy topping. Remove that top layer of that plastic, grab a little bit of a scoop, do a little bit of a, oh, you gotta be strong. This is like, you know, kids who work at ice cream parlors and are so strong. Am I strong? No. Sometimes I pretend I am, but you know what? Right now, listen, we got 1 scoop. I'm popping it right on top. And we're turning it over so it looks full. Honestly, this looks like a total dream to me. I'm going in for a bite of this crisp with that peach, with that little bit of almond in there. You've got that crumble on top. I'm gonna dig into this, see if I can actually scoop. I've made a mistake already, I can tell you that. But, you know, cheers to the summer. A little bit of a workout, never hurt anybody. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.